Hey guys, this is Exile123 here, and I just decided to make a tutorial map on the map Canal, and that's because once this map was released, it was really confusing, even for me and my platoon mates, to like where to position ourselves. It was really confusing. So, from my experience from this map, I just decided to share with you guys. And so, hope you guys learned something. And here we go. So, every scenario I give, this is going to be the spawn point. Okay, just every scenario I give, this will be where you spawn. And I will give important positions by the yellow dots, and green dots being your allies, and red dots being the enemy team. Or where I will place the dots are typically maybe the favorite positions people like to play. In this first scenario, it's going to be a midsection battle where enemy or your teammates and the enemy team are typically battling out in the midsection. It's your job as, or actually, before I get into this scenario, I'm going to be giving these scenarios on based on that you're playing as a medium, and that's because I like to play mediums because they're fast, agile, and I think mediums are they can totally change the tide of the battle based on where they position themselves. So this will be given as a tutorial on mediums. Sorry, I should have said that in the beginning. But anyway, carrying on with this video. Uh, As a medium, I like to push up to this position right here because first off, this can maybe or not maybe, this can give you two angles right here. And this will basically scout out if maybe the enemy team decides to just full out rush mid or something. And that's rarely happened, but it's a good thing that you scouted this so that you know early on that's not going to happen. And if you're there's actually a bit of like a hill here, so maybe that's not such a good point to be, but like maybe up here. Um, and you can maybe scout out maybe a few enemies, maybe there are like one or two here. So, and the reason I like to push up to this position is like I don't like to just rush out to this right section here or up this path to the second position. Um, because I don't know if the enemy or maybe like one or two tanks are going to come here. And if I'm the only one here, then that's bad for me if I can't take those enemy tanks on. So it's a good idea to like kind of scout up here and maybe get a few tanks. And if you get like more than one tank scouted in this midsection, I would uh I would definitely try to like maybe come to this point where I can scout down this path right here. And by the time, if there's no enemy tanks here, I would go to the second position because the angles here given by the second position gives you such an advantage. Because, like for example, if this enemy tank here, that's one position I see often being played if I'm playing on this side of the map. Is that typically are like out. Mm, well, I'm mixing my words up. Usually, one enemy player likes to play this position because it gives great cover if they're trying to fire down mid here. Maybe your teammates are right here trying to fire at him and also. So it's a good position that you're here, that you're firing at him because this literally gives pressure onto this enemy tank. He can either turn around and look at you and shoot at you, but this hill right here gives you great cover already. So you can just back off and not challenge him, right? And um, the reason the second position is good is because enemy teams here in the midsection are already going to be focused on this mid lane or this midsection combat. They're not going to be focused on you because they're already looking here. They're looking to fight up mid or take out these enemy tanks here. So it's your position to go to this position and take few shots at them, maybe even take out tanks. And this will totally change the tide of the battle as you take out enemy teams in the midsection. So that's one scenario. And my second scenario is this: is when the enemy team rushes top left corner here. And typically on this map, that's what enemy players can do, is because they can push up all the way up here without getting scouted, right? Unless one of your teammates goes up this way. But usually, teammates will kind of group up together, to play by each other. So this is just my guess on how teammates will play and how enemy players will play. So, teammates will be holed up here because they're like, oh, they don't see any enemies down mid, but maybe they'll come up. So they're just going to be staying here, right? And so in my previous scenario where you pushed up here, if you don't see anyone, if you don't scout anyone in this midsection, right, and you're here, just push up to here, and if you don't see anyone coming down, then it's alright to push up to this position right here. Because typically enemy players won't take, or if you're spawned around here, like in this area, they are going to reach this area faster, they're going to reach this area faster than you would if they were medium players, right? So, but if they're heavies or TDs trying to push up here, and you're already trying to push up here, maybe you won't even see them coming, So they can probably fire a shot at you while you're not even noticing them. So it's what I'm trying to say is as a medium, it's good to have a lot of health so that you can pack a punch later in the round. So I like to push up to this position first. So maybe scout, maybe one or two. If they're not there, I like to push up here. If there's no enemies down this lane, I like to push up here. Now by this point, you don't scout anybody mid. You should already think in your mind like a snap that there's no enemies in the midsection here, and that they're probably doing a rush up here, right? And reason I'm saying you got to get up to this position fast is to maybe catch off guard one or two enemy tanks up here if they're just lagging behind. And this can totally throw them off, as maybe the enemy teams are just going to become focused here, but then they just spot you behind them. So maybe they're thinking they're really pressured, and they're just just really pressured here. So as a medium, it's kind of put pressure. This is a play where you put pressure on them if they're rushed up like this. And usually, whenever I play this spot right here, scout down this lane, put some shots in the enemy tanks, the whole team isn't going to turn around and shoot at you. That has never happened. Or that hasn't really happened. Because by the time they're here, they're already focused on taking this whole area right here, this midsection, taking out my teammates, and looking to destroy maybe the other tanks, maybe like me, who's kind of here. They didn't expect. So once you pick off enemy tanks right here, or put shots into them, well, This isn't really a good hiding position. I think a better one would be like right here. This hill area will give you it won't give you complete side armor, but it's a good like peek in and out position you can do. The reason I highlighted this route right here is because um, if you cut through here, um, if you cut through there, maybe to like here, I think you can get scouted more easily. Say if like an enemy tank's like right there. So this is like already a bad position for you. Um, because or like maybe even right here. That's a bad position. You're already kind of close. And this cover is like no good. Like I can't really give reasons why it's a good bad position, but it's or like I would typically take positions where I can get more cover. And buildings aren't that good of a cover. I like hill areas because as a medium, uh, you want to use your hull armor. Not every medium has great hull armor, but it's you need more cover as a medium. So maybe this position I'll push up to. Typically, maybe take out tanks, and these two yellow dots are positions you want to take if the enemy team decides to push up here. And I call this area no man's land. That's because here there's barely any cover. So if the enemy team decides to rush here and you're taking shots at it, they'll typically try to rush out, right? And get pressured and try to just rush out and take on your teammates. By that time, you put shots into them, your teammates are going to have maybe an easier time to take out the enemy players because they're moving and shooting. And so their accuracy may be off. So it's like this is kind of your job to push pressure if they decide to push, right? And this is my second scenario, and you got to realize um, to get up to your spawn to this point, to this point, and to this point, it's gonna take time. So this is really based on your decision making. This is more like like a pressure play. This is not a strategy. This is a pressure play. Um, I don't know if I would even push up to this midsection here. Or no, actually that's you can't even do that if you don't even scout here. So that's why I like this right side of the map because once you scout up this midsection here, there's no enemies here. You can already guess that there's going to be enemy players up here. So you can already push up to this position and give you like an early start on shooting enemies. And so that's my second scenario. And here's my third one. Um, okay. Here's my third scenario, and hold on a sec. Okay, there we go. This this is my third scenario where if you're pushed up here, I don't know where that went. Okay, if you're pushed up to here, let me. Can I just Alright, whatever. You're just gonna have to follow my mouse pointer. Whoever's watching. Once you're pushed up to this point, and if the enemy team's already rushing here, um, it's your job to run away. Like if you know that there's at least two or more just rushing at you. If you know you can take them on, then take them on. But usually it's a bad scenario for you. You do not want to take on three tanks at once, right? like unless they're like low tier than you, and you know that you have better armor or something than them, and you can bounce off shots. It's you want to take that challenge because if you take like that's a good challenge. But if they're just rushing on you and you know that they can put a lot of damage into you, it's your job to run away on this path. That's because um, I put a green dot here, and reason I don't like this position right here is because although this right here, this hill gives you a bit of a good cover here, uh, if you get spotted or if you spot them, they can take shots into you. I think this is a bad, like, I think this kind of exposes your side here. So it's not that great of a position, but if you're confident enough where you can, if they miss a lot, they're not that good of players, and you can take them on, then maybe this position can be okay if they rush up. But typically, why I'm saying this might be a bad position is because if the enemy team's already pushed up down this path here, you're kind of screwed if you try to run away. And like I said, mediums, you typically want to have like a good amount of health and stay alive as long as you can, because you can totally change the tide of your battle or the battle. So I'd kind of run away here, like turn around, run away. Um, by the time you scout all them out, your teammates should push up to this position right here. Or like maybe there'll be like a teammate here just shooting down here, but no, I don't think that's not a shot you can do from here. So um yeah, typically teammates will just kind of push up here, not in this area, so they can deal with these tanks. Now, since you're medium and you're fast, it's your job to change your positions fast as well. Um, reason why I would take this path here is because if you go down here, um, well, you know what? Um, hmm. Because like if they know you're weak, like since it's like a advantage for them taking you on, they might just rush you. Like if you go down here, so maybe it'll be bad. It's like kind of a risky play. That's what I'm trying to say. If you're trying to rush down here, I would just kind of like go here. Um, maybe try to get up here. Maybe this way. I'm not quite sure about this way. And that's because there might be some enemy tanks who are lagging behind, and like they spot you going down here. They might just turn to you and literally take shots on you, easy shots. If you're stuck down here, you can't really do anything, you know, unless they rush you. But you know, you typically want to be on the same level as the enemy team, or like you want to be like a bit higher than them. And this kind of goes with the concept of the snowy map. I'm not quite sure what the name is, but like where there's like a mill in the top right corner. That position's great because you're looking down at the enemy. So that's kind of the same concept here. You typically want to be on the same level as the enemy team, or you want to be like a bit higher. So, um, yeah, being in this like low area is not a good position to be in. So, just run away, maybe get up here. There's three yellow dots. I don't know why I put three, but oh well. This gives you kind of an angle down this here to enemy tanks who are maybe lagging behind. And typically there won't be because, um, if the enemy tanks are here, they got no one to shoot at. But maybe like down here. But that's about it. So they won't really stop here for any reason, but if they do, you can take some maybe side shots into them. Um, you know, maybe do that. And I would kind of like go around here, maybe take this position right here. Um, I said maybe because, if you're thinking this guy right here, if you're already taking side shots into him, he'll kind of like take notice of you. You know, he might turn around and shoot, but if you like quickly get into cover or something, since there's like a lot of obstacles here, as I remember. So if you're like duck into cover, he'll maybe like still think he's in the open and try to go to cover, or like you know to get into cover into this hill right here. Um, then you can like push up here because, like I said, if you cut through here, you're going from downhill to uphill, and once you're this close, like maybe like here, once you're that close to the enemy players, they might just turn around and just get you. So it's kind of good to like get a safe distance from them while still having cover. So this position can be great, right? As a medium player, like if the enemy player's already rushing you, you have to run away. If they're like kind of like hold up here, maybe that's when you start putting pressure on them. And yeah, those are three scenarios I gave based on you spawning on this area. Not quite sure if I'm gonna make another one based on this spawn up here, but basically those are um three main scenarios that might happen in this map. I'm just kind of giving an idea of where you might want to play as a medium player, and made this video based on these positions because I know that I'm going to be releasing this to the Titan family, and I'm in the Atlas branch, or like what sometimes people can be confused about is they think like Atlas and Azul are like branches of the main clan Titan, and that's not it. It's all basically Titan, right? They're all main clans, right? So this is for the Titan family because I just know Titan family literally has good players. They don't have any sucky players like 40% win rate. You get the point. They have good players. Like we all have good players in the family. So I know that if you take these positions, like I told you in these other scenarios, you should be good. Because I know that you're going to aim well, that you're a good player. And so these are just basically decision makings you probably want to make if you're spawn here. So, um, yeah, that's just my thoughts and opinions for this Canal map. Hope you guys have a good idea on how to maybe play this map a bit more. And thanks, guys, for watching. Hope you guys learned something, and see you guys.